Alabama. Alabama faced just 4 exits post-spring practice. None were main contributors. Signed the number 3 rated transfer portal class and has the number 2 ranked recruiting class in the current 25 cycle, according to 24/7 Sports. Now comes the biggest question. Can he maintain the standard of excellence on the field? Talent acquisition is the most important component, and he has largely addressed that. JJ, I think they're going to have a drop-off just because I can't imagine there won't be one. But we have seen it in sports. We've seen it, with quarterbacks. Look at the Green Bay Packers. I mean, we've seen it with the Colts thought they had it with Manning going to Luck. Occasionally you see it with coaches in terms of a great one replacing a legend and it working out. But it feels like in the SEC, it's tough to come up with many examples of that. How do you think Kalen DeBoer is going to fare?
I think the first couple seasons he's just going to be fine because it's not his roster. I guess he got a lot of guys from the transfer portal, which I didn't realize. But it's already built, as Gus said. But this time it actually is built there. So, yeah, I don't see him totally screwing it up the first couple seasons. It would be really hard for them to, not win at least 9 games, I feel like. But after that, you go a few seasons without winning a national title. Maybe the recruits stop coming in as much. There's no possible way he could be even half of what Nick Saban was there. So, I guess if you win 9 to 10 games the next 3 years, that's a success. But not compared to what he was just, what Alabama just was. So I don't know if they're going to be in the playoffs every year, but I don't know if they're going to be winning national titles anymore.
Yeah, I would agree.
So still a success for most schools, but not for Alabama.
What do you think about Auburn? Because they seem to be a mystery team for me.
They're in a flux right now with their coaching decisions the last few hires, the last couple years. I think this is a really bad time for Auburn just because now you have 2 more huge schools. We did that story the other day where Dennis Dodd thought who was, gaining an advantage and who is losing something from these teams joining the different conferences.
Right, Stuart Mandel.
Yeah, Stuart Mandel, sorry. They're definitely one of those to me that's losing a little bit. With these 2 new schools coming in there. Yeah, I think it's going to be a rough one for the next couple of years for Auburn.
It's interesting what Ken Smith of The Athletic wrote about Auburn. He leads it off by saying, is Hugh Freeze trying to recreate Michigan State's 2021 offense? Doing so would elevate quarterback Peyton Thorne, whose best season came during that time. He then goes on to mention some other players from that era and then wraps it up by saying, Freeze's confidence in Thorne is apparent as Auburn didn't bring in any transfers at quarterback. And Freeze has adapted, bringing in Derek Nix as the OC, an indication that Freeze will be more involved as a play caller. Will Auburn make a second-year leap under Freeze? It relies on Thorne, and Auburn has done what it can do to make sure it happens. I think Auburn will be decent, but I'd say somewhere in the 7-win range. I would be surprised if there's a major leap there because it does seem like they just don't have enough playmakers to really make a push yet. I think Auburn has a lot of potential as a program. I mean, I think Auburn is dangerous.
They have a really easy schedule this year.
Yeah.
So, they're going to go 4-0. They have Cal, New Mexico, Arkansas, Alabama, A&M, and then they play at home against Oklahoma.
So
that's the first big one. Yeah. Away against Georgia, they'll lose, but then Mizzou, Kentucky, Vandy, Monroe, back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah.
Before finishing against A&M and Bama. So
usually Missouri and Kentucky would be, if
you'll
you were
lose
Auburn,
one of those.
But
they're both on the road.
Yeah, I would think that's a 1-1 at best for Auburn.
I really don't like the quarterback though.
I don't either.
At Auburn.
Yeah, and then give me their close again.
A&M
and then Iron Bowl.
Of course, Bama.
Yeah, so that feels like 8-4 at best to me.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I would agree. It doesn't feel like the non-conference is all that threatening. So if they can, if they go 4-0 in non-conference and then 4-4 in league play, that would be 8 wins. Going to be interesting to see what Auburn does. I know Frank's a huge believer in Hugh Freeze, so we'll see. He certainly has had some great moments in this conference. We'll see if he can get Auburn going. That'd be an outstanding coaching job. Let's get it to Florida. So this is the Athletics, Kennington Smith writing his SEC football preview. This is Florida. He says, is this the toughest schedule in the modern era of college football? A case could be made. Am I betting on Florida to surpass its 4.5 wins over under? Yes, I am. He goes on to say, Florida's talent acquisition hasn't been an issue. Florida's 63% blue chip rate, according to Bud Elliott, is 11th nationally and higher than every team on the Gators schedule except for Georgia, Texas, and LSU. He goes on to talk about Mertz and Montrell Johnson. Obviously, gets back to the schedule, and then basically wraps it up by saying Napier's seat is pretty warm for July, but some early wins could cool it off. And again, I think that's sort of the key with Florida is the first half. It's a challenge, but it's not like it's unbelievably difficult, at least on paper going into the season. It's the second half that looks so daunting. But again, the thing that I think is interesting with Florida, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a major point of emphasis for Billy Napier next week at SEC Football Media Days. The Gators go Wednesday. Again, I'm sure Frank and Matt and me will have Coach Napier and the three players, Graham Mertz, Shamar James, and Montrell Johnson. But I bet you a point of emphasis for Napier is going to be basically as nicely as he can say it. I'm done talking about this schedule. I'm just, the schedule is the schedule. I'm excited about our quarterback room. I believe we're much better on the offensive line. I think we now have natural tackles playing there in a pretty good rotation. I think he's going to say Montrell Johnson's one of the best backs in the SEC. Trey Wilson is an outstanding playmaker, and they've added a couple more through the portal at receiver. And I think he's going to talk about the defense being far more in alignment. I don't know how much he'll get into that because it highlights a coaching blunder of his, which was he hired Austin Armstrong, this baby-faced kid, to be the defensive coordinator and didn't really allow him to build his staff. Just he basically inherited a bunch of veteran coaches that were like, this kid is our boss now. And it just didn't go well, obviously. So now they've brought in Roberts, who's Armstrong's mentor. So there'll be more alignment. I'll be interested in seeing how much Napier gets into that because, again, it was his blunder that led to that dysfunction with the defensive coaching staff and obviously transfer players. So I think I think the message that the Gators are going to send next week is, yes, it's a tough schedule, but ask us about our linebackers, ask us about our offensive line, ask us about a quarterback that's got 48 starts, something ridiculous. Ask us about a 5-star quarterback coming in that could certainly give them something as a powerful short yardage runner immediately. And that's if DJ Lagway kind of struggles to pick up the pass, which I would expect it'll be like Leak and Tebow, where Tebow really didn't throw it much in 06 as a true freshman, particularly in moments where it mattered. He had a handful. He had the jump pass and things like that, but for the most part, it was, okay, Tim, go in and run and score a touchdown or get us the yard we need on 4th and 1. That's what I think you'll see with Mertz and Lagway. Tate Casey was kind enough to join us yesterday, the Gators sideline reporter, and he kind of echoed that too. And Mark Long, we spoke to him a few weeks ago, and he said the same thing. It seems almost across the board in understanding that DJ Lagway is going to have some kind of role in the offense for Florida. So that'll be interesting. Let's get it to Georgia. And again, this is Ken Smith's preview from The Athletic. He says, he leads it off by saying the 2023 Georgia team was Kirby Smart's third straight 13-win team, but missing out on a chance for a three-peat left a sour taste for Georgia fans. What will it take for Georgia to get back to the national championship game? Last year's team provided a clear answer. Georgia is elite, but the team can't operate at its optimal level unless its defensive front is controlling the game. He goes on to talk about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Trayvon Walker and Nolan Smith and Devontae Wyatt in terms of blue chip first round prospects that Georgia has developed and cultivated. He says it's hard to expect any team to maintain that level of talent, but it was noticeably missing last year, particularly against Alabama in the SEC championship game. Now, Georgia does return most of its defensive line from last year. So that certainly helps. They have Mikael Williams, who is, some believe could be the number one pick in the draft, or certainly is going to be one of the most talented players in the upcoming draft. he's going to be given the opportunity to rush the passer more. So Smith closes his Georgia preview by saying, the defense overall will be elite, but will the front create havoc? That could be the difference in the Bulldogs' championship hopes. I think they will. I mean, I think Georgia has a tough schedule, so I don't think they'll go undefeated, but I think they'll win the SEC. I think they'll be either the 1 or the 2 seed, and I think they're going to win the national championship. And JJ, I believe you feel the same way, right? We went through that college football model of Bruce Feldman's, where he projected the 12-team field, and we just went through it. And you had Georgia winning it too, right?
Yeah, I don't when I have circled. I think Ewers could knock them off. So I don't expect them to win every single game. You know what's sad is that Clemson game, I just overlook it as a dominant victory for Georgia.
I'll be shocked if Clemson beats them.
Yeah, it's like a 13 or 14-point spread.
Yeah. I mean, I would take Georgia and give the points.
Probably me too. I don't love Klubnik. But yeah, Georgia, they're going to get in. I don't see anybody competing with them as long as they have a quarterback. I don't know what the backup situation is at Georgia, but I guarantee he's probably pretty good too. So maybe even with a backup, they're still going to win the national title. Going back to Florida quickly about what you were saying, I think it's really important for Billy not to come in and talk at all about the schedule, like you said.
Yeah.
That's just giving excuses already. The players are going to hear all that. Your coaches are going to hear all that. It's going to seep in oh, okay, so this is really tough. Maybe we can afford to lose a few of these. It's not the end of the world if we lose to Miami. Remember how we're getting screwed because the schedule's so tough. You can't be making excuses for yourself, especially in a season when you're on the hot seat like that. Like you said, you just need to go in, talk about the team, throw all that crap. Don't even accept any of those questions. Put them to the side. So I think it's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm eager to see what comes of it next week with Florida because he's going to be asked it in every session.
Oh my God, it's going to get annoying.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I do think on paper Florida has a good team, but it's hard not to remember the snafus of last year, and that's the thing. If you were to tell me right now there aren't going to be any of the mental disasters that they had last year, if you're going to tell me they're not going to have 2 number 3s on special teams at the same time, which basically was a turnover in the Utah game, they're not going to have guys diving over the center to try and block a field goal and get flagged for that. They're not going to have every trick play backfire in their face and be called at the just purely wrong time.
As you're dominating on offense.
Right, exactly. You're not going to have, your field goal team run out onto the field when you still have to spike the ball to kill the clock. If you were to tell me all that is going to be solved, then I think Florida can be, I think they could, be a team that does contend for a playoff spot, but, and could go 9-3. But that's the thing. There's just so many things there.
It's all about the beginning of the schedule. If you start out 5-0, what is it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So if you beat Miami in the next 4, you should win. You're 5-0. The momentum there is going to change everything about what people thought, what we're thinking right now before the season, what this team can actually do. They're going to be, if they're 5-0, I don't know if they'll be favored at Tennessee, but it's not going to be a high point spread.
No, it would not be. And obviously a lot of that would depend on, how the Vols look as well.
Yeah, they play Oklahoma a couple games before Florida.
Yeah, so we'll have an indicator. There's been a lot of Florida-Tennessee games where you don't really have a good idea of either team.
Because it's so early in the season.
Because it's been early and they've opened with, outmanned opponents.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely have a very good idea what Florida is. And to
they
your
both
point,
have huge games.
Yeah.
Florida plays Miami and Tennessee plays Oklahoma.
Right. Yep. So it's
no hiding in those.
No, not at all. No, you can't go vanilla. You gotta run your stuff. Let's get it to LSU. This is a team that I'm really intrigued by because defensively they were horrible.
That was an understatement.
But offensively they were incredible. But they're all gone. You lose Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. In looking at what Ken Smith wrote of The Athletic on LSU. He starts it off by saying, after watching LSU last year, it obviously had to address its defensive deficiencies. The changes didn't come to fruition in the portal as many envisioned, but Coach Brian Kelly said it wasn't for a lack of trying. Well, that's got to alarm you if you're an LSU fan. it says Kelly did retool the defense from a coaching perspective, but can that make the difference? He goes on to talk about up front, they're very good. They do have the best offensive lineman, it looks like, in the country. So he ends his LSU preview by saying the offense has the pieces to be dynamic again, but there's talent on defense highlighted by Harold Perkins. But that unit's progression will determine if LSU is in playoff contention. I think LSU is going to be the most disappointing team in the SEC this year.
See, I was on that train, but you look at their schedule and all their hard games are at home.
That does help.
They play Bama at home, they play OU at home, and Ole Miss. And those are, they don't have Georgia on there, they don't have Tennessee on there. Florida, I guess you could consider that a semi-tough game. It is in the Swamp.
Give me their road games. So they go to the Swamp.
They go to the Swamp. They go to Kyle Field. They go to Arkansas, and they go to South Carolina.
Yeah.
They do play USC to start the year, but it's in Vegas, and USC it's not USC like we used to.
If LSU loses to USC, wow.
I don't expect that.
I don't expect.
I people love this Nussma, whatever his name is, Nussmeier.
Yeah, they do. I
don't think there's going to be a humongous fall off. I mean, it's not going to be it's dominant on offense like last year. How could it be? It was record breaking. But I don't think they're going to suddenly be the LSU of old, where they're struggling to score. So yeah, I still think they're going to put up they're going to be in the 30s and there's no way their defense can be as bad as last year. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be competing for the playoffs, but maybe 9 wins in here, 8 wins. 9 actually might get 9 wins in the SEC.
9 probably would
You're
get them
probably
in,
locked in,
particularly with their brand.
8 would be tough.
8 would be tough. I would agree. But the other thing too about LSU is, and I mean this is just a gut feeling. I mean this isn't it's unfair to present it as anything than me just going off gut here. It feels like to me Brian Kelly is almost a little checked out. Is there a little Dan Mullen in there, like his last, year at Florida? Like Brian Kelly just strikes me as somebody that's like kind of has buyer's remorse that he took the job, probably is like looking at the landscape of his next move. And
is there a next move? He's sort of an older guy.
NFL could be a move for him, I would think. And
he's 62.
Yeah, and the last move could just be I'm done.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If I don't succeed here, I've been to 2 of the biggest programs in the history of college football. I guess I don't think of him as an NFL guy. I don't know why. That just doesn't come to my mind right away. So, yeah, if it doesn't work here, I think it's just a wrap. But he still seems to be recruiting all right. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten any of those cringe. He's done with the cringe recruiting videos, unfortunately.
That was so bad.
But, yeah, his first 2 years, 10-4, 10-3. Could be a lot worse.
Oh yeah, I don't think
Citrus Bowl and Relia Quest Bowl is not exactly what LSU fans want.
I don't think he's done a bad job, and he did just produce the Heisman Trophy winner. But it's just a feel like in this league, if you're not
all in,
a maniac, you're gonna struggle. And I don't know that he strikes me as somebody that's maniacal anymore about his craft. And if even at LSU, if you're not, it's gonna show. So we'll see. I
feel like it would have been easy for him to just stay at Notre Dame.
Well, no doubt about it.
And just win there, and you don't even play Michigan anymore.
He's the all-time wins leader at Notre Dame.
Wow, I didn't even realize that.
Think about that with all the coaches that they've had, because he stayed there. Longevity is why. I'm not saying he's the best that they've ever had. I'm just saying that he stayed the longest, to your point. They weren't rushing to get rid of him. He just wanted something different. And maybe that's part of this, too, is he's just, to me, he strikes me as a guy that may have some remorse of leaving, and may also just want another challenge. Maybe he feels like, okay, I've seen what I have here at LSU, and I want to go do something else. So anyway,
it certainly does still feel weird seeing him in LSU stuff on the sideline. Yeah, it's still not. I can't get used to it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're running out of time a little bit, but I do want to get to a couple more just quickly. Ole Miss, Ken Smith of The Athletic in his SEC preview writes, Lane Kiffin has proven himself as the coach at Ole Miss, as the Rebels have won 28 games during the past 3 years. How about that? It's their most in 3 years since the 1960-62 seasons.
Wow.
So he really has done an unbelievable job there. He writes, with more talent on paper than ever, the question is, can Kiffin elevate this roster to playoff contention? Then he talks about the importance of defensive coordinator Pete Golding. who used to obviously be the DC at Alabama. He wraps it up by saying the bulk of Ole Miss's robust portal class is on defense, giving Golding a deeper talent pool to make this a more well-rounded team. I think Ole Miss is going to disappoint too, in the sense that I don't think they're going to make the playoff, which I think for them is going to be a disappointment,
especially with all the hype.
Considering the hype, like normally if Ole Miss goes 8-4, that's a pretty good year for Ole Miss. But I just think that I just am not buying into it. Yes, they've done well in the portal. Lane Kiffin's a good coach.
They have an easy schedule.
Give me the schedule.
So the only really tough ones they have are at LSU versus Georgia, which is at home, and then Oklahoma. So they dodged Bama this year. I guess at Florida could be tough towards the end of the year, depending on what the situation. Who knows what's going on November 23rd with the Gators?
What do they do?
The Gators could have 3 wins or
they
3
could have
losses.
an interim coach.
Yeah.
What's their non-conference Ole Miss?
Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake, and Georgia Southern.
Okay, so they'll get 4 wins there, but
yeah.
that hurts you. And I mean, this is what I'm talking about. That's a
It
problem
does.
for Ole Miss.
It used to, but
it
with
will
12
this time.
teams,
It will hurt. And I mean, if they go 10-2, they'll
They're
be
in.
fine. But if you go 9-3,
and you're competing with another,
because if you go
SEC
9-3 with that schedule, you're really 5-3 because they're going to look at 4 of your wins as being utterly meaningless. So you're a 5-3 team, and the TV execs aren't going to be clamoring for Ole Miss.
No,
And we have to acknowledge that matters
Absolutely.
after seeing what happened this past playoff selection year. So, I mean, in looking at it, I could see Ole Miss losing to, give me Georgia. They lose maybe at the Swamp, and they lose to
OU or at LSU, probably more likely.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think they'd have enough signature wins necessarily to do it. So, anyway.
Yeah, their signature win, if that's the situation, would be Florida.
Yeah, which isn't, which,
Oklahoma.
as you said, might be not even a good win. So anyway, interesting just to kind of look at some of the teams that people are talking about as we get closer again. SEC football media days are next week. Frank Frangie, me, O'Brien, Matt Hays will all be in Dallas to give you guys great content all week. So we'll certainly look forward to that.
That's when it gets real.
That's when it gets real, no doubt about it. But we're going to switch it to the NFL because when we come back on the Frangie Show, we're going to be joined by Buffalo News columnist Ryan O'Halloran, our good friend, covered the Jaguars for many years, covered the Commanders, the Broncos, knows the league inside and out. We're going to get into all things around the NFL next with our good buddy Ryan O'Halloran. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Tired of dealing with clogged drains? What about bad smells coming from your pipes? You need to call Duck Duck Rooter, your plumbing pros in Northeast Florida. Duck Duck Rooter can help with any plumbing issue at your home or business. DuckDuckRooter.com.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Pull up a chair at the table for some Saturday afternoon sports talk with Compton and Company.
So you want to talk about this or what?
Join Compton and Company noon to 2 Saturdays for more conversation about the teams you care about most.
I have questions. I need answers.
On 1010XL.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey folks, Curtis Dvorak here. Are you a golfer, pickleball player, or a concert lover? Well, if you said yes to any of those, join me for the first ever Patriot Games on Saturday, September 21st at the Yards in Ponte Vedra. All proceeds benefit Operation New Uniform, which is a transition training program for service members, veterans, and military spouses. For more information, visit onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org. Hope to see you there.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You and I know Zero Res loves cleaning carpets in your home. But did you know Zero Res can also clean the carpets where you work? Take a look at the floors where you work, and if they need cleaning, suggest to the boss they call Zero Res. For the month of July, Zero Res offering 20% off all commercial carpet cleaning. Call Zero Res, and they'll come out and give you a free estimate on what it will take to get the job done. Zero Res, man, you spell it forward. Zero Res, you spell it backwards. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
Soccer fans, don't miss your chance to see teams from the English Premier League compete in the Stateside Cup right here in Jacksonville. Competition will be fierce when Wolves and West Ham United take the pitch under the lights at Everbank Stadium July 27th. It's Premier Soccer at a premier venue for one night only. Tickets are going fast. Buy yours today at statesidecup.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
Calling all disc golf enthusiasts. Play It Again Sports Jacksonville wants your used discs. Now through June 29th, earn cash on the spot plus $5 in sports bucks for every $25 of disc golf gear we buy. Play It Again Sports also stocks new discs from your favorite brands like Innova, Discraft, Discmania, and more. Stop in today and shop our huge selection. Merrill Road near 295 in the Merrill Station Shopping Plaza, or online at playitagainjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We certainly appreciate our friends from Stanley Pools. We also appreciate our good buddy up in Buffalo, Ryan O'Halloran, kind enough to take some time to speak with us again. Ryan, how are you doing?
Hey, it's good to talk to you again. How we doing?
Doing great. When we hear that music, we know good insights are coming.
It means the big guy's holding the phone in one ear and shuffling his feet with the other.
Oh man, well let's get it to. I want to get around the league, but let's start here with the Jaguars. The play calling thing in terms of Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, it seems like there's a big camp on both sides. So where do you fall in on, should Doug Peterson take back the play calling from Press Taylor?
Well, there should be one camp. and that's the camp that the owner wants. He wants the head coach. That decision should be made, and it's the right decision because I think we've talked about this off air before. Is any notion that Press Taylor and Doug Peterson of the same mind in play calling? That's a false narrative because when you get in the heat of the game, you got your favorites. They're going to be different than other guys' favorites, even though everybody's involved in the plan. Doug Peterson has a Super Bowl ring because he called plays for the Eagles. If I'm him, I do that. And, the argument's going to be, well, there's the game manager, there's the challenges, there's the clock and timeout. For an offensive play caller, I don't think that's a big deal. And Kyle Shanahan explained that years ago in San Francisco, saying when you're calling the offensive plays, you are so into the game about those aspects that it comes to be second nature. And sure, you need help, stuff like that. But, I think when Shad Khan says he would prefer Doug Peterson be the play caller, the decision should be made.
Yeah, and to Shad's credit, he said, it's up to Doug. Doug's the coach, but he certainly made his opinion clear when he met with us a couple weeks ago. The other thing, too, is Doug has said, well, no one was complaining 2 years ago when, I was calling the first half and Press was calling the second half. But my pushback to that would also be, well, you're also setting up things for him. The way you call a game in the first half, some of that is deception to come back to things later to trick the defense. So Doug Peterson in those games may have set a fabulous foundation for Press Taylor to then call plays in the second half with success. And again, and that's my concern because last year with Press doing all of it, maybe Press Taylor just doesn't have the experience or the talent to call things in the first half that lead to setting things up in the second half with great success.
Yeah, and when you're the head coach and have the experience calling the plays, is you're going to save a couple gotta have it plays.
Right.
And stuff you've been working on and the scout team had no answer for. And, to me, maybe a more inexperienced guy would want to use that early just to say, hey, let's get a big play. So, I think with the Jaguars entering this kind of season, which is a pivotal season, my lean would be toward a guy who's had more experience doing it.
Let's get it to a little bit around the league. Let's start with Stephon Diggs. You covered him, obviously, the last couple of years in Buffalo. How do you think he'll fare in Houston?
Well, I don't think he's the number one anymore. His decline in production in Buffalo last year was dramatic and significant. And so how he's going to handle him on the wrong side of 30 with Houston and a young quarterback, I think the first year he's going to be sunshine and roses. He's playing for his last contract. They redid his deal, so he's a free agent after the year. But if you're getting into week 5 or 6 and he's not being involved as much, how is he going to respond to that? If I'm a AFC South defense and I'm game planning for the Houston Texans, it doesn't start with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that's what I would think as well. But it helps Houston because they, like you said, they've got some other guys now that can sort of assume that role. From a personality standpoint, do you think they'll have any issues in Houston with him?
I think his MO in the first year of where he's been a model teammate, and he was. I don't put a lot of stock into captains because it's some players tend to vote on who they think other players are voting for, and Diggs wore a C the last 2 years. I think players respect his ability, but in his actions more than his words.
Not a lot of really breaking news in the league this time of year, but a couple things I thought were pretty cool. Have you seen the Giants off-season Hard Knocks? And if so, what are your thoughts on that?
I watched it. I think it's sensational for the football people, which is you and me.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of people listening to this show are football people. It really does pull back the curtain to how a team is built during the off-season, the conversations that go into the franchise tag, the conversations that go into contract talks, and we're going to get more of that in future episodes. But especially last night's episode, that was the Brian Daboll show. Yeah. And with those combine meetings, how he challenged those quarterbacks, the Giants appeared to be all in on a quarterback. It just wasn't J.J. McCarthy,
right?
Because they passed on him. So it'd be interesting to see which one of those guys was their top guy. But I was visiting my parents over the last couple of days in Florida, and we watched it last night. My mom likes pro football, but never been a big Hard Knocks guy. She was fascinated by this because she had no idea how many discussions go into a single decision.
Yeah.
So I think maybe, I think they've hit on something here. You just have to find a team willing to let the cameras in. I mean, they probably have agreement on final cut, but I mean, they are giving us a pretty good glimpse into the Giants' thinking. And I think one of my takeaways from Joe Shane, the general manager, last night is he tells Saquon Barkley, well, we want to see what your market is. Well, that conversation ended his time as a Giant because as a GM, you don't let other people set the market.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that was telling.
I thought the same thing. You can, as a GM, you should never say, well, you'll circle back to us, right? No. Make the offer now. Make the offer now. We're not going to give you that comfort of, but I promise you, we'll circle back to you. That's bad business, and it's naive to think that an agent and a player are going to agree to that.
Yeah, because once the player is told he's hitting the market, I owe the Giants nothing.
Right.
And to see, I mean, I'd be interested to see how they react next week when he does sign with the Eagles.
Yeah, no doubt about it. One other thing that came out today in terms of NFL media, Bill Belichick is going to be joining Inside the NFL every week this coming season. I believe it's every week. How do you think? Obviously, we respect his opinion and things like that. I think he'll be fantastic. But are you excited about this? How do you think Belichick will do?
Well, he's got his plate is filling up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got McAfee on Mondays. He's got the Manning cast on Monday nights periodically. He's now got the Inside the NFL. He's going to be watching every tape of the University of Washington where Steve is the defensive coordinator. And he's got a 25-year-old girlfriend. His plate is full, folks.
And he's got to watch Jaguars film for next year.
Yeah. I told you that earlier today. He's got to keep tabs on Jay for when he becomes the head coach next year.
Right.
But what he clearly is doing is he is auditioning for owners.
Yeah.
Who are impressed by stuff like that. And there's a certain owner who's based in Arlington, Texas, in particular, who's impressed by that.
Well,
I think he'll add terrific insight.
I think he will too, and I do think he'll speak frankly, and which is what you always want from an analyst. Because I'm with you. I think he's bothered by the fact that the perception out there is the game has passed Bill Belichick by, and I think he's dumbfounded that he didn't get the Atlanta job, and so I am with you. I think he's going to be on a revenge tour to show everybody the nuances and his football knowledge, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So, and it's clear he wants to get back in. He wants the record, and so why not take every opportunity to be in front of a camera or a microphone and give your thoughts on what you're seeing.
And if I'm Belichick, what I'm doing, because you're going to be watching every game on tape or and analyze it, is he cannot get a job next year if he presents a coaching staff of Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia, et cetera, et cetera. He should be canvassing the league. Okay, who is the next, hot defensive coordinator? Right. Who's the head coach that maybe not retained who could be his offensive coordinator, and start putting together a staff that's going to impress owners? Because if I'm Arthur Blank and I was presented with those names, I would not have been impressed. And it, turns out probably he wasn't. So that to me, that would be an ulterior goal for Belichick, is to sort of really turn over his kitchen cabinet.
Ryan O'Halloran joining us. He's a columnist with the Buffalo News, but obviously you guys know him from his work covering the Jaguars here for many years for the Florida Times-Union. Let's talk about the AFC East. Obviously, that's the division you cover, covering the Bills, but the Jaguars play every team in the AFC East this season. Just give us a thought about, just go down the line, go through the division, give us a thought about each of those four teams.
Yeah, I mean, the easy one would be the Patriots. They're in a total rebuild. They're going to be able to stop people, but we may not see Drake May for a while. Jets and Miami, I think, are vying for second place. The Jets are leaning on a 40-plus-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. The Dolphins are leaning on a quarterback in Tua who hasn't got a contract extension he feels he has deserved and should have gotten already. So there's tension there. Miami had to make a lot of tough decisions with their cap last year. without winning anything. And so those are bitter pills for them to take. And now Mike McDaniel is on his third defensive coordinator in 3 years, Anthony Weaver from the Ravens. So it just seems like they're always not in tumult, but they're always in transition down in Miami. The Jets, I think they're going to be good on defense. They rebuilt their offensive line, but can Rodgers, rediscover some of the magic he had when he won a couple of straight MVPs earlier in the late 2018, 19, 20 range. So right now, to map it out, the Bills, I would go Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. I picked the Bills as the favorite because they have the best overall player in the division in Josh Allen. Their skill position players, was poor, low ranked by ESPN yesterday, but it's going to be a piecemeal by committee. And I think they got more questions on defense with their pass rush and their safety position than they do on their offense. So, I think 11-6 is going to win the division.
How do you see the race in the NFC shaping up?
I mean, to me, it's like San Francisco keeps knocking on that door. Well, sometimes that door never comes down. Look at the Bills. They haven't got as close as the Niners, but I like Leonard Floyd. He was the Bills' leading sacker last year. He's now with the 49ers. If McCaffrey stays healthy, he's going to get a ton of touches. I think Green Bay is getting a lot of attention, but I don't think they're going to win the division. I think Detroit's going to win their division. I think Detroit is really going to be that second team in the conference. I think the NFC East stinks. Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders.
Wow. You think they all disappoint?
Yeah, and somebody's got to win the division. But the Eagles, I think the Eagles will be better on defense. But do you really believe in Jalen Hurts? Right. I don't know how much of a step forward he can take this year, even with Barkley and the receivers he has. So, I would put the 49ers atop that NFC power pool. I would put Detroit second, which is a cop-out 1-2 because they played last year in the title game. But, what team is going to come out of nowhere? The Rams made the playoffs last year. Does Matthew Stafford had one more run in them, but they don't have Aaron Donald. So, if you look at, it's sort of a tale of two conferences. In the AFC, you got some superpowers, and it's deep. Good teams are not going to even make the playoffs. Whereas the NFC, that 7 seed, maybe a team like Chicago.
Yeah, I could certainly see that. Chicago has certainly done an excellent job building up that offense. So. And if you believe Caleb Williams can step in and have a C.J. Stroud rookie year, then Chicago could be dangerous.
Yeah, and I think what they did, with Rome Odunze, I think he's going to have an instant impact at receiver. Keenan Allen's going to have an instant impact. He's going to be that veteran guy. And then I think they did okay. They were decent on defense last year. So, can the Bears get in as a third team in the NFC North? Potentially. Yeah,
I think so. Ryan, great stuff as always. We certainly appreciate it. Do you have anything that you want fans to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, I do. KJ Hamler is a Penn State receiver, second-round pick a couple years ago. He's got a story on him in Sunday's Buffalo News, sort of a human interest story. Had a heart issue last year. Was released by the Broncos. Had another heart episode when he was with the Colts last year, so he's been cleared medically. So he's trying to make this Bills team as a long shot. And so if anybody wants to carve up a nickel for the Buffalo News, I would appreciate the click.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll certainly look forward to that. Man, thank you so much. Always enjoy talking ball with you.
All right, Hays. Take care now.
All right, that is Ryan O'Halloran, again, columnist of the Buffalo News and a good friend to us, covered the Jaguars for many years, did a great job with the Florida Times Union, and we always appreciate his football insights. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we're going to react to some of the stuff Ryan had to say. You were listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Florida State. Subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel, up-to-the-minute updates, analysis, and more. Plant the spear and subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles channel today.
It's time to fire up your grill, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our independent sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our independent sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Get recruiting tips and advice from area coaches, pros, athletes, and their parents.
So you gotta up your game.
Plus, better ways to train as B3 Better brings you the Amateur's Edge Show. Saturday from 11 to noon on 1010XL.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, with answers to the questions I'm asked the most. Yes, we are local, and no, I'm not hiring an actor to read these commercials. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
The Sunshine State says it all in the nickname. That summer sun in Florida can take its toll on an air conditioning unit and send your electric bill through the roof. Florida Home AC can help you handle the heat with a brand new AC unit with low monthly payments and over $3,000 in federal tax credits on select systems. So this summer, don't sweat it out. Cool off with Florida Home AC, the official AC company of the Jaguars. Call them today, 777-4300, and check out their tremendous savings on a brand new AC system.
RJ Saunders here, sports lovers. I recently took a tip from Frank Frangie when I needed to send flowers to my mother. Frank told me that Kuhn Flowers is the only florist he ever uses. So that's what I do now. I use Kuhn Flowers. Find them online at kuhnflowers.com.
Hey folks, it's Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. Now you probably heard me mention that errant golf ball that led us to replace our windows. And obviously, if I'm investing in my home's appearance and comfort, I want the best. Well now, my new Pella windows are installed and they look fantastic. And we've already noticed the difference in outside noise reduction and energy savings. So if you need to replace your windows or doors, visit my friends at the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway or check them out online at PellaJacks.com. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Let's go! Help cheer your Sharks on to victory as they battle the Green Bay Blizzards in exciting IFL football action this Saturday, July 13th, 7 o'clock in the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Now, check out our new family pack. You get 4 tickets, 4 vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. It's a great deal. To purchase yours or to get more information, call 904-621-0700. And ho, ho, ho! Who's ready for Christmas in July?
A little Christmas music, maestro?
Whether you're on the naughty or nice list, come out and support your Sharks. You never know, you might get a chance to say hi to Santa.
It's almost Christmas.
All we want for Christmas is a Sharks win. Check out our post-game autograph session and see if the players and dancers are asking for the same present as you.
Let's go!
Don't miss the fun and excitement of Sharks football this Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Let's go!
Let's go!
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give My Lowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a My Lowe's Rewards member? Join for free today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
Toe 10XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
All right, welcome back to The Frangie Show. Frank is on vacation. He will be back on Monday, but JJ LaSelva is here. I am Hays Carlyon. Always appreciate Ryan O'Halloran's insights. And he always, the thing that's great about Ryan, JJ, we were talking about this in the break, is you walk away with all these nuggets because he doesn't shy away from anything. So everything you ask him about, he's got a clear, concise opinion on and a strong opinion on. I want to get to some of the things that he talked about. Let's start with the Jags play calling. I've been very vocal about it. Obviously, Ryan certainly had a strong opinion on, that Doug Peterson should take it back from Press Taylor. Where do you come in on this argument?
I'm with Ryan. I think if you won a Super Bowl doing that thing, you got hired to do that thing here, so do that thing. And that thing that you're good at is play calling, and it worked out, a couple seasons ago. So why not go back to it? I think he will, but I understand that he also doesn't want to go out to the media and just totally throw his buddy / offensive coordinator under the bus by being like, yep, didn't work out. We're going back to the well. So I understand when he's sort of shying away from giving a solid answer, but I would be very concerned if it's not already handled in-house, which I think it is. I think they all know who's going to be calling plays, and it's going to be Doug.
I hope you're right, because I don't think it is.
I know
going to
nobody
be Doug.
that works and covers the Jags professionally thinks that I do.
This is why, because Doug is such a easygoing guy, but he's kind of prickly when asked about this.
So you think that it's because he thinks that, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. Well, why are they continually asking me about? He
tries to sell it as it's really not that big of a deal.
It's not a big difference.
But I don't see how you can say that. To me, it would be like if I hire you to represent me in a trial, and it's a jury trial, and your strength is your closing argument to a jury. That's what you're known for. Mm-hmm. And then I've hired you. We're halfway through the trial. And then you tell me, well, but I'm not going to handle the closing argument. My associate is. But don't worry, he's going to be really good one day. I'm like, what, are you kidding me? No. So, yeah, I mean.
Especially now that Shad has made a comment about it, which I was surprised he did.
Right.
That seems like something that's so, anything that football related, you normally don't really hear him comment on it. So, yeah, if that's coming from the top, like Ryan said, you do what the owner says.
Yes, and again, I do want to preface it as I was the one that asked Shad this, and just to make sure that everybody has a clear idea of it. In no way, shape, or form is Shad going to tell Doug Peterson he has to call plays. He's just not going to do that. That's not the kind of owner he is. So, yes, he has an opinion on it, but he is going to delegate it to Doug. Now, I do think that puts extra pressure on Doug, and we've talked about that, because if I'm an owner, I know you're not going to be flawless as a coach. You are going to make mistakes. What's harder for me to tolerate is when you're making the same mistakes. That's when I've got to think about moving on. And that's the gamble that Doug Peterson is taking. Again, it may not matter. The offense may sizzle. It may be spectacular. And Doug Peterson may take great pleasure in his post-game press conferences of reminding us that, we didn't think, or many of us did not think that Press Taylor should be calling the plays. And I hope that's what happens for the sake of Jaguar fans. I mean, I hope they have the NFL's best offense. But I do see it as an issue. He got into some other good stuff here. I thought it was really interesting. Being somebody who covered Stephon Diggs day in and day out, I do think there's a narrative in Jacksonville of Well, the Houston Texans are going to fall apart and disappoint because that's what the Jaguars did last year. And I don't think you can make that declaration. I think just because the Jaguars failed does not mean the Texans will. And I think some of that has been, well, because they're bringing in Stephon Diggs, who's going to be a nightmare. So it was interesting to hear Ryan talk about he'll be a good guy year one because he understands
he
the
was
thin
in
ice.
Buffalo for a little
Right.
bit. Like,
it took time.
I know how bad it was when I left the last place, but I'm going to prove that I'm not that here.
Right.
So maybe it takes a couple years. But listen, if you're the Texans, you're only expecting a couple years, out of this guy anyways.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say he does come in and become a cancer after a season or two. Like, okay, that's fine. We got 2 seasons out of him.
Right. No doubt about it. One thing that he said that surprised me is he thinks the NFC East is going to really underwhelm. I would be surprised if both Dallas and Philadelphia I mean, obviously somebody's got to win the division, and I'm not expecting really anything from Washington or the Giants. But
someone's going to win at least 10 games.
I would think, wouldn't you think? That
just based on them playing each other, that you get to play Washington twice. You get to play the Giants.
Yeah,
that
theoretically could be 4 wins.
Yeah.
It probably won't be because it's division and it's rivalry and they know each other so well. But you certainly could be looking at it if you're Dallas and Philly and saying, well, that's hopefully 3-1 at worst.
Do I think they'll disappoint in the playoffs? Yes. But one of those teams is going to get a bunch of wins and get a higher seed just because, like he said, the NFC sucks.
Yeah.
So based on that, somebody has to win these games. You can have a good record and not be a great team. We see it every year.
What do you think about Jalen Hurts?
I've never been high on Jalen Hurts. I was proven to look like a fool during that Super Bowl run last year. And then I changed my opinion on him because, he looked great in the Super Bowl all the way there. And then last year he did what I expected. I don't think he's a great passer. And I think that when that offensive line is, if it wasn't for that amazing offensive line, I don't know how good we would all think Jalen Hurts was. But to see him going into last season as all these top 5 quarterback, and that's laughable. I never was huge on Jalen Hurts. I'm higher than I was when he came in the league, but not as high as most people.
I do think Ryan's right about Detroit. I think they could be scary good.
Yeah.
I think they could go to the Super Bowl.
Much higher on Goff than him.
Yeah,
Both have great offensive lines.
Well, that's the thing. And Goff, I think, is decent, to pretty good. But the thing is, they have just built such a team around him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and San Francisco certainly has done the same thing with Brock Purdy. But to me, if I had to pick it today, I would pick Detroit, not San Francisco, to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Oof. I don't know about that. I mean, the NFC, when they played, it was pretty close, right? I don't remember them blowing them out, but just that roster from top to bottom for San Francisco is intense. I would have to pick San Francisco. I had to right now, but I like that.
Yeah. Well, that's why we do this, to have different opinions on things. I do think he's right. The AFC is just loaded. I mean, it is
unfair.
It really
for the
is.
Jags.
It really is a super conference, and it was last year. We talked about the team, the 8th team in the AFC, could probably be the 5 seed, the top wild card in the NFC, or certainly be in the tournament. And so that's just and that is cyclical. That will change back and forth. But certainly right now, the AFC, and to your point, it makes a tougher road for the Jaguars.
This is how bad the NFC is. The third high, I'm looking at the odds for the Super Bowl winners. Obviously, San Francisco 1, Detroit 2. Who do you think the third team out of the NFC is?
I'd say after San Fran and Detroit, I'd probably go Philly.
They're actually 5th.
Wow.
So the Packers and Dallas are in front of them.
Wow.
The Packers are the third highest odds.
Yeah.
To get to the to win the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Well, I mean, they got a lot of upside. I mean, with Jordan Love, and they've got all these young receivers that have tons of ascension ability here this season. So I kind of get it. I would take Philly over Green Bay.
I'd take Dallas and Philly over Green Bay.
But yeah, it does speak to the differences in the two conferences.
People love Jordan Love.
Well, he did play really
He
well.
did.
I mean, it's just now it's a
I
question
need to see
of
another season.
Well, that's the thing. It's the same question that C.J. Stroud's going to have to answer. Is okay. No one was studying you last offseason. No one. No coach spent extra time studying C.J. Stroud or Jordan Love. Now it's all they're doing. If you're a defensive coordinator in the AFC South, I would imagine a good portion of every day is watching C.J. Stroud and trying to find that nuance to his game that you can exploit, that you see as being unrefined, and this is what he struggles against. So the counterpunch is absolutely coming.
They're not sneaking up on anybody.
Correct. And it's, and then it just becomes, can they weather that? And, so it is a big question to have to answer. For both those players. And
I think they'd be crazy to give him an extension before this season.
Yeah.
I don't know what his situation is, how many years, what they, when
they
was
signed
drafted,
him to
I don't
that
even
second
remember.
contract, but it was
short.
It was short. So, yeah, he's certainly in line for an extension. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
They're talking about his numbers like on Trevor's level.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt he'll get the Lawrence contract. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I mean, he just had an unbelievable year and won a playoff game. So I would think absolutely that's the deal that Jordan Love is going to be looking at if Green Bay is willing to pay it, to your point, and they may not be. But anyway, it'll be fun to see. Always great talking NFL. When we come back, we are going to get it to today's headlines. Have a couple special ones for you. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to kind of acknowledge it.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
All right, it was a miracle.
The Drill. Mornings on 1010XL.
Can we go now?
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey folks, it's Jennifer Marion. Randy Marion Cadillac is the pinnacle of luxury in the First Coast area.
And guess what? We've got the all-new Cadillac Lyriq with $16,000 off MSRP.
That's right. You pick the color and drive away today in ultimate style.
Experience the future of driving with the Cadillac Lyriq. Electric, elegant, and exhilarating.
Visit us online at RandyMarionCadillacofJacksonville.com or come see us on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on this unbeatable deal. Plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resistor.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The American Century Celebrity Golf Championship tees off tomorrow, featuring two of Duval's biggest stars. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson will be teeing off at 8:43 a.m. alongside Jim McMahon and Steve Young. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence will be teeing off at 9:51 a.m. alongside John Elway and Josh Allen. Valento Bellozo is on the bump tonight for the Jumbo Shrimp as they are in search of a win coming off 3 straight losses. They take on the Gwinnett Stripers in Game 3 of their 6-game series with first pitch coming at 7:05. Join the Jaguars in the bank for the first time this season on Saturday, August 3rd as they host their annual stadium practice at TIAA Bank Field. It's 93 degrees at 5:10. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank is on vacation. He will be back on Monday. JJ LaSelva is here. I am Hays Carlyon. Let's get it to headlines. But first, thank Harrell & Harrell for sponsoring it. Give them a call at 251-1111. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured or a loved one, that is who you need to put your trust into. They are fantastic people. Again, 251-1111. Let's start with the Jaguars, JJ. Interesting comment. So ESPN is continuing to do their positional rankings where they had a bunch of anonymous coaches, executives vote on the top 10 at each position. We did running backs to start the week. Well, today they did safeties, and Andre Sisco didn't make the top 10, but an NFC coordinator had a really interesting comment about Sisco, called him a 30-plus interception guy. He said Sisco, quote, generates turnovers at an elite level. The 24-year-old Sisco has 7 career picks in his first 3 seasons. Sisco did not make the top 10 in voting, as we said. He was one of 7 honorable mention selections, but I was really surprised by that quote. Just to give you a sense of that number, Rasheed Mathis owns the Jaguars' record with 30 career interceptions, and Donovan Darius leads Jaguars safeties all time with 14 picks. Do you see Andre Sisco becoming that kind of guy?
No, just because that seems like a lot. I don't think he needs to have 30 picks to be considered one of the great safeties in Jaguar history, though. That's a lot of room to make up. 23 more in his career with the Jags. I don't see it, but I like the optimism.
Well, and again, the coordinator didn't say necessarily it has to be with the Jaguars, just that that's the kind of talent, you know what I mean? So, and he's coming up on being a free agent, and he may be somebody that there's not room at the end for.
You can't sign everybody.
You can't sign everybody.
Especially if they sign Tyson to a big deal.
Yeah, and so, but boy, that's a really intriguing comment. It would be interesting to know which team he works for, because if Sisco does get out there and he's either a coordinator or maybe even a head coach by that point, you got to think Andre Sisco is going to get a lot of money.
Cash,
yeah, I thought that was really surprising. I think Sisco is good, and I do think there's some upside with him, but boy, to get 30-plus interceptions at this level for your career, that is a fantastic career. So I thought that was an interesting comment. Let's stay with safeties, and let's stay in the division. The Titans signed safety Jamal Adams today, a 3-time Pro Bowler, The 28-year-old Adams only played in 10 games over the last 2 seasons combined, though, with the Seahawks.
The Titans are like, is it Sid from Toy Story? Who's like collecting all the old sort of broken toys?
They're kind of doing the Daniel Snyder, like early 2000s Washington thing, where they were signing like Bruce Smith,
old
and
veterans,
it does feel that way.
Why don't, if you're one of these teams like the Titans, just tank? I mean, like, go for the next Carson Beck. Like, what are you going to win with these old veterans bringing them in? It's not a relegation. We're not in the Premier League, where you have to just stay up. Like, I don't understand these stadium, like, middle of the road teams.
Maybe they, although they've already got, I think the stadium there.
I forgot about that.
I think it's a done deal. I don't think they still have to lobby, but maybe there was some pressure.
Well, by the time it's built, that's when you're going to have like your new quarterback.
I'm with you. You should. In the NFL, you should either be great or you should be awful.
Yes.
You should never be mediocre because you're going to languish there for decades. But I didn't have a problem with the Titans signing Jamal Adams. He is 28, but boy, the injuries and the way he played early on in his career, when he was making those Pro Bowls, he's a fierce player. But those hits just add up.
Absolutely.
Look at like Bob Sanders. How great he was with the Colts. And it's just hard. It's hard to play that way and have
not too many Troy Polamalu's.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Reeds.
Yeah, let's get it to golf. The Scottish Open. JT on fire today with an 8 under 62 to lead by 1. A great round for Justin Thomas. A bogey-free round for the 2-time PGA champion and former Players champion.
Yeah, huge save on 17, so it's a par 3, and he like overhit the green badly. And you're thinking, all right, well, here we go. This is going to be the first bogey of the day. Will this start like the downward trend for JT like we always see? And no, a great up and down, great round for him. He was amazing around the greens. And shout out to Hays Carlyon for saying earlier this week that he expects Justin Thomas to come back again, which I did not see that coming. I hope he has a pretty good round. I thought it was pretty ironic that the day after they announced the new Ryder Cup captain, he busts his ass, because if you don't remember, he was the one who was very controversially put on the team last year when nobody thought he deserved it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And
also, a crazy shot this morning. Ludwig Aberg, Aberg, however you want to say it.
Yeah,
he had a phenomenal round, but he got incredibly unlucky when he hits the ball within like 5 or 10 feet of the cup. But it hits Morikawa's ball and shoots off like 30 feet.
It was incredible.
And he ended up bogeying, and it kind of slowed his down round a little. But, man, that guy's good.
He is good. And I'm sure I've seen that before, but, boy, you would think it happens more often in golf. But it's
so
very rare to see
If you don't know, Morikawa gets to put his ball back, the one that was already there. But unfortunately, Ludwig had to play his from, I think, the sand.
Yeah, it was a brutal break. You mentioned Morikawa. He shot a 65. Rory McIlroy did as well. So both of those players in fine form to start off the Scottish Open. So it should be 3 more really fun days of golf. Yeah. We'll see if JT can keep it going.
I tried to wake up at 3 in the morning to watch Rory's, but the Braves finished too late.
Well, the thing is, you're going to have to do that next week. Like that's where I'm not getting up early to watch the Scottish Open.
So I got up at like 7. I'm training myself for next week.
I like it. Yeah, but next week at the British Open at Royal Troon, I will absolutely be up early for that. To be honest, that's one of my favorite weekends of the year. There's just something about getting up at like 5 a.m., having your coffee, having a good breakfast, and just watching great golf. So I'm excited about it. Plus, I always know once the British Open is over, football season is basically here, and that makes me very, very happy. Let's get it to basketball. Team USA beat Canada 86-72 in a warm-up last night. Rough start offensively for Team USA. They missed their first 6 shots.
I heard it was bad.
And had 8 first-quarter turnovers, but they did end up finding a rhythm. Anthony Edwards led Team USA with 13 points off the bench, and they were great defensively, to their credit. Canada shot just 33.8% from the field. Yeah,
I was watching the Colombia game, and I go on Twitter, and I see all these, people just destroying Team USA, and I'm like, are they even playing? I didn't even realize, but we have 6 exhibition games before the Olympics even start. But yeah, I'm sure they're not taking it very seriously.
Yeah,
not yet.
But defensively, they look like they were in pretty good form early on. So hopefully that continues.
They're going to be the favorites to win.
Oh, their second team Their second team is unbelievable.
I bet. Did you hear the drama, though, with Jaylen Brown?
Well, you know, I did, and it was funny because I liked the Derek White addition after Kawhi Leonard pulled out, but I just assumed
he was on the team.
I just assumed he was on the team.
Me too. And so when they said, "Oh, he's not there," and now he's claiming it's a Nike thing.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, maybe it is. Because why else would the NBA Finals MVP not be on the Team USA, but his teammate, who's like a role player, is?
Yeah, it didn't make much sense to me either. But
all that stuff is political, man.
Well,
you remember Jordan in that Dream Team.
Isaiah Thomas. It goes all the way back to the first inclination.
But also Jordan, what he's talking about is Jordan didn't like Isaiah, so Isaiah was on the team.
Right.
But there was also that drama with, I guess Team USA was an Adidas, but of course Jordan was Nike, so Jordan went out there with the logo like covered up on
taped over.
Yeah. So there's like always shoe companies involved with basketball stuff.
Yeah. Very true. Very good point. Sticking with basketball, the NBA has an agreement in place for an 11-year, $76 billion TV deal, according to multiple reports. The league has not confirmed the deal yet. TNT, an NBA partner since the 1980s, apparently has 5 days to match one of the deals if they want to stay as a broadcast partner of the association.
Yeah, I think that's long gone. I think we've known that's not going to happen for a while now. But I saw a headline that they're going to have 5 nights a week after football season ends, a game on national TV every single night. So it might be NBC on Monday, Peacock Tuesday, ESPN Wednesday, and I think it's just the NBA on NBC and ESPN, I believe. But every single night during the week, they're going to have a national broadcast, which is cool.
That is cool.
After football.
Yeah.
They know not to compete.
Yeah, the NBA, it seems like it's in fantastic shape with the TV deal in place,
so
the young
too,
talent.
But you look at the finals and the playoff ratings, and they're bad. Like, they really still need, like, a LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need a guy that people can love and hate. And, like, the Jokic's and the Tatums, they just aren't doing that for people right now.
Yeah, good point. But those are all young superstars.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll continue.
Anytime you get $76 billion in a TV deal, you're probably all right.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's get it to baseball. Paul Skeens continues his torrid start. The rookie Pirates fireballer threw 7 no-hit innings with 11 strikeouts and 99 pitches today, JJ?
Yeah, they took him out, which, of course, Twitter's complaining. What happened to the baseball I love, the game I love, whatever. But you can't. He's a rookie. You can't just have him go out there and throw 120, 130 pitches just because you want him to get a no-hitter. This is the second time in only 11 career starts that he has pitched at least 6 no-hit innings.
Wow.
Okay, guys, so he's going to have plenty of opportunities in his career to get a couple no-hitters. So let's hold off on like trying to push him to the max right now. His next start, potentially Tuesday night, Arlington, Texas.
Yeah.
The All-Star game. Wouldn't that be awesome if he starts the All-Star game?
Honestly, he should.
After 11. Well, it should be Chris Sale, but Chris Sale's going to start on Sunday.
Yeah.
So he can't anyway. So you might as well have this kid. It'll be awesome.
It will be.
I never watched the All-Star game, but honestly, if he's starting, I'll tune in.
And it'll be fun to hear what Frank has to say when he gets back about taking him out with 99 pitches thrown with a no-hitter through 7. Let's get it to soccer, JJ. You're our expert here. Greg Berhalter out as coach. We mentioned that yesterday. So what's the race shaping up to be? Yeah, give me some
So
new
I told
coaching
you
info.
yesterday there's a guy who just left Liverpool. His name is Jurgen Klopp. He was like...
We're getting the Klopp?
No, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, we don't have the Klopp.
Okay.
He turned us down today, which it was sort of like a dream scenario to bring him in. But we reached for the stars. We didn't get him, so now we're looking for more realistic options, and I'll give you a name that I love. His name is Jesse Marsh. He's currently the manager of Canada, but he is an American. He's coached in the Premier League. He's coached in Bundesliga. He's coached massive clubs. So I would love to see Jesse Marsh as the American manager going into the World Cup.
Can he bring me a World Cup
Please.
championship?
Or a quarterfinal, whatever.
Oh, man. Let's get it to NFL media. We talked about this with Ryan O'Halloran earlier. Bill Belichick is joining Inside the NFL on the CW network this season.
CW?
First off, I had no idea CW has the Inside the NFL now, so that was kind of interesting. But Bill Belichick.
Of Live Golf and Bill Belichick.
Yeah, how about that?
The CW.
I tell you, he's got a full plate. I mean, there is no doubt about it.
So is he? I thought he was with ESPN.
I think he's doing.
But he's doing both.
He's doing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure he didn't sign to just do
one show
thing.
a week.
But yeah, I want to say he's doing Manning Cast, the McAfee Show.
Oh yeah, the McAfee Show once a week.
Now he's doing Inside the NFL. So
I think he's going to be awesome.
I think he's going to be awesome too. And again, I think he's very determined to show NFL owners, I still know this league.
I'm not an old washed guy.
I'm not washed up, and I should definitely be on a sideline.
Better analysts. Do you think it'll be Saban or Bill?
I'm going to go Bill, but I think
like
they'll both.
Better TV guys.
I think they'll both be great.
Okay.
But I'll give it to Bill.
Okay.
Because I just think there's more nuances to the NFL game than the college game. So I think Belichick's got a better chance of saying something that's going to like really stick with me.
Surprise you or something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than Saban. But I do think they'll both do an outstanding job.
Agreed.
HBO has a really cool documentary coming out. I don't know if you've seen this, JJ. They announced a 4-part Pete Rose documentary that will be out July 24th. So
yesterday,
just about 2 weeks away.
I said I'm out on all sports docs.
Yeah.
I instantly changed that decision.
They pulled me back in.
Like it only took one day, but I saw the trailer, and at first I'm like, is Pete Rose not in it? Like
I haven't watched the trailer.
Everybody
Tell me about
else. Okay, so it's basic. It's about a minute, but they're just saying like, oh, this guy, this many batting titles, the MVP, going through everything and how great his career was, and then of course the scandal. And they're interviewing people during it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna watch a Pete Rose documentary unless he's in it. But then at the very end, they show he's has a sit down. So
nice.
I'm excited. I love Pete Rose. He's my dad's favorite player. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Forgive him for his sins. Hopefully this is one more step closer to that before he. I would hate for him to die and then make the Hall of Fame because I know how much it means to him.
Amen.
So let's get him in.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it again. July 24th, and it's an HBO production, four-part series.
And they're the best.
Yeah,
HBO.
Oh, no doubt about it. They do a great job. Rest in peace. Sad news. Actress Shelley Duvall died today at the age of 75 from complications with diabetes. Duvall was known for roles in The Shining, Annie Hall, and Popeye, so sad to see that. And
she was great in The Shining. Her facial expression, her body language. I don't know what you'd call it.
Acting.
Yes, yes. Acting without so much dialogue.
Yes.
In that movie, she was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
You're scared with her the entire movie.
Yeah, it's very terrifying, no doubt about it. And we will get you out on this musical note, but I have to explain it first. So a little different today. So the Killers had a concert last night in London at the O2 Arena, which is gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 10 songs into their concert, and they, on the video board, bring up the final minutes of England's game against the Netherlands. And you can fill us in. That's like the semifinals of the European Cup.
Yeah, so they just had scored in like the 90th minute to take the lead. So basically, to seal the deal, they're going to the back-to-back European finals. It's a big deal for England, obviously. And immediately, they go from the celebrations into their number one banger.
Yeah.
That looks like giving them a place in a European Championship final. That's exactly right.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Make your track bar adjustment on 1010XL.
He said he was a little bit free.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on your NASCAR station. 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new walk-off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric.
You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
How nice would it be not to worry about your AC unit for 10 years? What? Vaughn's Heating and Air, standing by their units for 10 years. Imagine not having to think about your AC unit for a decade. Vaughn's 10-year warranty covers the parts, labor, and refrigerant. Basically everything. No fictional problems that will cost thousands. This is legit. An AC unit with no repair costs. Wouldn't that be nice? So remember, if your AC unit won't turn on, just call Vaughn's. That's Vaughn's Heating and Air.
This summer, Big Chief Tire is teaming up with local nonprofit V for Victory to support local families impacted by cancer. Frank Frangie here to participate. Donate school supplies at any of Big Chief's locations, including Orange Park, Westside, Blanding, Southside, and Northside locations, and receive 10% off your next service. Together, we can make a difference in the Jacksonville community. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to see the full wish list and learn more. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling. Folks, this summer, happiness is a new Chevy. That's right, a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. Get this. This month, you can save up to $8,500 off a new Silverado. Or, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 model. And that's with the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee. Your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. Want an even better deal? Well, ask about Demo Model for even deeper discounts. You can shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cabot. This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. So head to Nimnick Chevrolet today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
This summer, beat the heat at Best Bet, your premier poker destination. Whether you're a seasoned poker pro or a first-time card player, you'll find a cool retreat from the summer heat with thrilling poker games, big payouts, and refreshing drinks. Join us for an unforgettable experience. Cool off and cash in at Best Bet. The stakes are high, the cards are hot, and your chance for fun is guaranteed. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
It's the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Mondays at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Let's go! Help cheer your Sharks on to victory as they battle the Green Bay Blizzards in exciting IFL football action this Saturday, July 13th, 7 o'clock in the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Now, check out our new family pack. You get 4 tickets, 4 vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. It's a great deal. To purchase yours or to get more information, call 904-621-0700. And ho, ho, ho! Who's ready for Christmas in July?
A little Christmas music, maestro?
Whether you're on the naughty or nice list, come out and support your Sharks. You never know, you might get a chance to say hi to Santa.
It's almost Christmas.
All we want for Christmas is a Sharks win. Check out our post-game autograph session and see if the players and dancers are asking for the same present as you.
Let's go!
Don't miss the fun and excitement of Sharks football this Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Let's go!
Let's go!
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
Welcome back to The Frangie Show. Frank is on vacation. He'll be back Monday. I am Hays Carlyon. JJ LaSelva is here. JJ, have you taken a glance at the Week 14 college football schedule for this coming season?
I saw somebody post something about a particular week late in the season a couple weeks ago, and I'm assuming it's this one.
It must be this one because it's literally college football heaven. I mean, I just can't even imagine watching this weekend of games. This is November 29th. A Friday it starts, and it goes obviously Saturday, November 30th. So, I mean, it's literally like I've never seen anything like it. I mean, if you're upset about conference realignment, then at least this should make you feel a little bit better.
So this is the week after Thanksgiving.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So Friday night, you've got Georgia Tech at Georgia at 7:30. You've got Utah at UCF at 8. So that's two good games that not great, but two good games that certainly I will pay attention to.
Oh, this is Thanksgiving weekend, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
I was going to say, I actually think Thanksgiving
year.
is the 27th.
It's the 28th.
Or 28th, yeah. So you've got Georgia Tech, Georgia, the night after Thanksgiving, as well as Utah at UCF. So, okay, pretty good stuff there. That's a 7:30 start and an 8 o'clock start. Now you go to Saturday, November 30th. Buckle up. So not only
I got my big boy pants on.
Yeah, you're going to need them. So not only do we have Florida at Florida State, which obviously will be the buzz around here, but this is the other games you get that day. You get Michigan at Ohio State. You get the Iron Bowl. You get Oklahoma at LSU.
Wow.
You get Texas at Texas A&M. You get Notre Dame at USC.
Boy, it feels good to have Texas A&M back.
Yeah. And you get Washington at Oregon. I mean, that is...
How are they going to do that with TV?
That is 7 games on a Saturday. There's other games, too, like South Carolina plays Clemson.
Notre Dame, USC.
Yeah. But, I mean, those 7 games, I mean, you're talking about... You're going to have multiple fantastic games in every TV window that day.
Sadly, Clemson, South Carolina will be on, like, SEC Network.
Yeah. I mean, it might have to be.
I'm thinking Florida State, unfortunately, might get another noon kickoff.
It certainly could.
Which we had that for a few years.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm assuming, obviously, we don't have, like, the SEC 3:30 CBS game, but I'm assuming whatever the top ABC slot is, we'll get the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, they already have times for, they say flex 3:30, 4:30, or 6 to 8 p.m. start.
Okay.
For that game.
So, and obviously Michigan
same with Texas,
at Ohio
Texas
State will have
Fox.
I would expect, massive implications.
And that's a noon.
And that's usually
always
early.
Noon.
Yeah. So that'll kick the day off. But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a slate a day like this. I mean, where you're getting...
And I'm going to have to watch Miami-Syracuse. That's the one thing about being a Miami fan is, like, our number one rival is Florida State, and we always play them randomly.
Right.
And so this rival weekend, we always get, like, I don't know, Boston College or somebody. And so I have to, like... pencil in our crappy, worthless game into the coolest day ever of sports watching.
It seemed
kind of
like for a minute you guys kind of had something with Virginia Tech.
That's still a big rivalry,
Yeah.
but like they never have put just because of our Big East days.
And I guess Virginia Tech, I'm assuming they play Virginia every
that's usually their Virginia
to wrap it up.
day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
wow. That does leave you in a
Yeah,
so
we
you
always play like BC.
So while
or
you're watching
Pittsburgh.
Miami Syracuse, the rest of us will be watching.
They already have a time for Michigan, Ohio State. It's right there. Fox, noon.
Noon, yeah, that makes sense.
And they also have a point spread if you want to bet it. It's Ohio State. Ohio State favored to beat a team they haven't beaten in a while, the defending national champions, by 10 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would take Michigan in the points.
Ohio State is apparently strapped this year. Like
They are. They're
top to bottom. Their roster is supposed to be the best in a long time.
They are. They're incredibly loaded. They absolutely could win the national title. But can you imagine the pressure on Ryan Day that day?
Oh my God! If
I
you're
mean, it's
undefeated
going to make
into
Philip
it.
Fulmer versus Spurrier look like child's
yeah.
play.
I could definitely imagine getting fired after maybe going undefeated, losing to Michigan, still making the playoffs, but maybe like getting bounced in the semifinals or something. Like I couldn't imagine that happening, but I think it will.
I certainly could.
If Michigan ends up going to the playoffs as well.
So
will they have to play Michigan twice in a row? Probably.
Yes, they absolutely. If they both are if they're the top two teams.
I don't love that.
Well, we talked about it. They could play theoretically three times, and you could see it in the SEC. Let's just say Georgia and Texas are by far the two best teams in the SEC this season. Well, they absolutely could play three times in a span of 6 weeks.
Crazy.
So that is a probably an issue for the sport if it continually happens, because I don't know that there'll be a big public appetite for a third go around.
Exactly.
But we'll see. But the conference realignment, obviously, we always had the Iron Bowl. We always had Michigan at Ohio State. We always had Florida State. But it is, and Notre Dame, USC. But it is cool to see Oklahoma at LSU added to that day.
That's juicy.
That is a big-time game.
Because LSU was another one of those where their main rival is Bama.
Yeah.
And so, like, you would, in rivalry week, they'd always end up playing, Missouri, some random team.
And then you've got Texas at Texas A&M.
Love that.
Which will be fantastic. I mean, that will be about as intense an environment. I mean, they hate each other.
And they always used to play on the Friday after Thanksgiving. I'm glad that with conference realignment, we've lost a lot of rivalries, the Oklahoma, Nebraskas, the Michigan, Notre Dames, but at least we're getting this one back.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be an outstanding day of football. Again, that's November 30th. The whole weekend will be great, but certainly that Saturday is going to be one for the ages, so something to look forward to. When we come back to wrap up this Frangie Show, we will do a cool down, reflect on all the things that we learned today. That is coming up. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
With an impressive debut in Summer League play, former Purdue center Zach Edey, now of the Memphis Grizzlies, is the betting favorite to win this year's Rookie of the Year. Edey is plus 600 to take home the honor. Washington's Alexander Sarr is at plus 700. The number one draft pick in June, Zachary Richichet of the Atlanta Hawks, plus 750. Reed Shepherd of the Houston Rockets is at plus 1,000. Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs, plus 1,100. The Las Vegas Summer League tournament begins this weekend. All 30 teams participating. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
What's a backflow preventer? In layman's terms, it's a device that stops water from flowing backward in your pipes, which is required to keep drinking water safe and free of any contamination. Here at Duck Duck Rooter, we offer everything you need to keep your water backflow prevention device up to date. From installation to routine testing, Duck Duck Rooter will make sure your drinking water is clean and safe from contamination. Contact us today to schedule your backflow testing, repair, or installation. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
This is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here, and it's changing the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. I love the roulette. It's so much fun. It is so easy, and you can't find it anywhere that's better than MyBookie. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Don't miss out on the revamped MyBookie Casino. Use promo code 1010XL. Don't forget that. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
College football starts with SEC Football Media Days. Coming soon. Players, coaches, college football insiders.
He's our quarterback. He's our leader.
Brought to you by Window World of Northeast Florida and Kanaya Water Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us. But for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks. But I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners, always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today. Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
It's been a fun Frangie Show today. Appreciate you joining us. JJ LaSelva is here. I'm Hays Carlyon. Frank Frangie on vacation. He will be back on Monday. We covered a lot of ground today. We talked to Ryan O'Halloran, columnist of the Buffalo News, and he had a lot of insights. He thinks Doug Peterson should absolutely take back play calling duties here in Jacksonville. He believes Dallas and Philadelphia are both going to disappoint. Thinks the Bills are going to win the AFC East, and thinks Stephon Diggs will not be a problem in Houston, at least not in year one. We did some SEC football breakdown preview with SEC Football Media Days next week in Dallas. Again, Frank will be there with Matt Hayes and Mia O'Brien Tuesday through Thursday, so be sure you're listening in for all their fantastic interviews with the coaches and players that'll be there. And then we talked about this Week 14 slate in college football that is just going to be outstanding. Again, Saturday, November 30th, Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, the Iron Bowl, Oklahoma at LSU, Texas at Texas A&M, Notre Dame at USC, and Washington at Oregon. You're getting all of that on one day, on November 30th. So a lot of fun stuff that we went through today, and we did headlines as well, and hope you enjoyed that. I really thought that Killers clip was very, very cool.
Yeah, when you watch it, it's a lot cooler.
Yeah, well, they are 10 songs into the set, and so then they pause the show, they bring the game up on the Videotron with the audio so the fans in London can see the final few minutes of the game. The game ends, they shoot off confetti, and they immediately go into Mr. Brightside, which is probably that's probably their encore for most of their shows. Absolutely. I have to imagine. So for it to be the 11th song on a 20-song set list, very cool moment. So I'm glad. I appreciate you finding the audio for that, JJ, because that was really enjoyable.
I would have loved to see what they would have done.
Yeah.
If it went to like penalties,
right?
Would they have shown the penalty shootout live?
I thought the same thing, because I'm like, what if something goes terribly wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you just play like whatever your ballot is. It's like,
I guess if you care that much, you wouldn't be at a
concert.
Killer show the night of the semifinal.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you probably booked the ticket, not really knowing.
Advance.
Yeah,
way in advance.
It was really cool. If you haven't seen it, the video is out there. And JJ, thanks for playing the audio for us. But yeah, it was. We got to a lot of stuff today. You know, it was interesting. Josh Hines Allen has been making media rounds this week, and JJ,
you change your name and you get a media tour.
Everybody wants to talk to you, no doubt about it. So. Tell me, he was on the Rich Eisen.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got some sound for us from that?
Yeah, it's quick before we end the show, and it'll fire you up as Jags fans. He was basically asked, like, what's your message to the fan base?
Expect great things. Where's the camera at? Right here?
Yeah, right there. You're looking right
Expect great things from us. Our expectations are to win now, to win late, and to win in January. Taking nothing less. First, it starts with our division. Got to win that talented division, but we got the pieces to get it done. Get to the playoffs, we'll get it done. We're going to have the best defensive line. I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm holding all my other guys accountable. And we're going to be lights out. Love you, Duval. Boom. September, come out here, support your boy.
I like how he just stared at the camera as if it's
Where's
like a
the
wrestling promo.
I love it. Yeah. I was waiting for like Dusty Rhodes to come out with a steel chair. And but great stuff from Josh Hines Allen. We can't wait to see what he can do to follow up a brilliant 17.5 sack season from last year. That's going to do it. Thanks so much for listening. Frank, again, will be back on Monday. For JJ LaSelva, I am Hays Carlyon. Into the Night with Rick Ballou is up next. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.